Hey everyone, this is Jason out in Colorado. We're out here at our Survival Standard Week. Day one, we're out here building a shelter. We've got a wiki up started on this side, and we're going to do a Alpine shelter off the side of it. Basically what an Alpine shelter is 2 lean-tos. We're going to do a variation of the original one I built. You might have seen the video a few months back. But we're going to do a lean-to with the top opening kind of on the side. So if this is one wall of our lean-to, the other one is going to be on top like this, and this area right here is going to have a gap that allows, if you build a fire inside, the smoke will come through that gap. But we're just getting started on it right here. We got a freestanding side. We didn't have a tree to tie it into, so we did kind of an A-frame structure. And then on the far side, we're going to run our first lean-to on that back side. And once that's complete, and then above it, we're going to have another ridge pole that's going to be the second roof. But instead, we're just getting going. We're going to work on this, and then I'll check back in with you later. Alright, so we got the first side of the lean-to built, or the Alpine shelter. Excuse me. Now we're working on a raised bed that allow you to get up off the ground. So if the ground's cold, you can roll hot rocks underneath it and keep yourself warm. It also helps level the ground out so you're not sleeping on a slope. We're going to build this here real quick, and then we're going to work on the other side of the Alpine shelter, which is basically a double lean-to. Alright, we're starting to add the second side to this Alpine shelter. We move over here. You can see right here on the bottom, we went ahead and built a raised bed that levels things up. We got our original beam here for our first side of the Alpine shelter, and then we're putting another one above it. It's directly above this beam. And now we're going to come out and put the ribs towards me, and it's going to make more or less a double lean-to, and it's going to have a gap between those two leaves, the two roofs on it, and that gap is going to allow smoke to come through. And then where he's standing on the log right here, that's an open end. We're going to go ahead and block that off. And then on the wiki up side right here, there's also going to be opening, and that's where going to be the area you walk into from the wiki up to your sleeping area. So we could put 2 beds in here. You probably could even sleep 3 or 4 people in there, but we're just going to do 2 beds. And then when we get the wiki up complete, you can have a fire inside of there. And that'll be your common area. When it's time to go to bed, you come on over into the Alpine shelter part of it. That's it for now. When we get this whole side done, I'll come back and let you see the almost finished product. Okay, so we're probably about 75% complete with this Alpine shelter, and we're going to go ahead and move on to a different shelter with the students. But as you can see, we started with the pine boughs on here, and once you get those pine boughs up, clear up to the top on both sides, then you would heap leaves on top of that to complete it. With Colorado's current high fire danger, what we're going to do here instead of pine boughs right now is we're going to cover this with a canvas tarp on both sides. Now on the top, let's see if I can point to it here. Right here, I got a gap in between those two sides. That gap allows for you to build a fire inside that shelter, and the smoke will rise up and escape through that gap. Now this is slightly different from the previous Alpine shelter that I built. Imagine, if you will, we're looking at this from the side. The first Alpine shelter we built, the walls, the roof was like this, so we had a gap in the center and the smoke would rise straight up. The problem with that style is if you have a lot of moisture, rain's going to come straight down into that opening, extinguish your fire, make it cold, make it wet inside. This pine shelter, this Alpine shelter, the roof is like this. So your water is going to come down and it's going to hit the top and sheet off, and then your smoke is going to come up and come in out through this gap that we have in there. You can do this opening right here. We would block this off, possibly leave an opening on here so we can do a keyhole fire. We would just feed long logs in through that opening so you're not burning as many calories with cutting up wood into that hole or to feed into your fire. But this is the basic structure for an Alpine shelter, a variant of an Alpine shelter. It's pretty warm in the winter. You got protection on both sides on your roof from the elements. You have protection on the side and this end cap once you get it completed, and we got it hooked to a wiki up on the other side, so it's completely, you got walls on all four sides of this. Like I said, we're going to stop here for now. It'll be complete, not a done product, but done for today. Now we're going to go move on. Students are up there right now. They went and picked out a spot. We'll walk up there and I'm going to show you what we got going with a super shelter.